So today's video is Operation Tiny House. You probably remember videos where I pulled this house all the way down from right back in there, all the way down to where it sits today. And I had to call it good enough. I would have liked to have gotten it a little farther into position, but it was just getting too tore up and messed up. So I ended up deciding to keep it right here. The project today is trying to get that 20-ton jack underneath this front corner right here and see if I can lift up this house enough to level it on all four sides. Anytime you dig in Missouri, you're going to need one of these or a jackhammer, because it is just rock the minute you start digging down in there. So the idea of this whole thing was, let me get through all this stuff here. As I was saying before I got cut off, the whole purpose of this move with the tiny house was to move it from back over there where I showed you all the way to what I started to create with the tractors when I had them here last, trying to get access to a gun range, which is going to be down that way. It's just going to have to figure out what to use for a backstop and maybe clear a few more trees. I thought maybe fall and early winter would probably be a lot easier to do this instead of trying to wrestle around all the brush that grows. It's quite a bit more empty than it was a couple months ago. So as you can see, the tiny house took some pretty bad damage on the move, unfortunately. And hopefully if I can get it up on those blocks over there, maybe that would allow me to get some repairs done underneath it as best I can. And I was actually thinking about taking bags of ready mix cement and putting it around the whole edge of it and just letting it sit on top of the cement and just let that stuff harden naturally. And that would give it a good footing to sit on. So that's the plan for today. Once I get this jack in place, I'll get back on. Okay, so I got some kind of a hole dug out here. Just about to see if this will fit in there. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Okay, I got clearance. I don't know if I'd have to use the bar to get it a little bit straighter in there. Oh, there it goes. All right. The problem I have with this, I wanted to get a piece of angle iron to try to support that a little bit, but I haven't been able to find any. So I'm just going to wing it and see what happens when I go under that 2x, I guess it's about a 2x6. So let me get my handle here. The other thing is I don't know if I got enough room to be able to manipulate the jack to pump up. Oh yeah, there it goes. So let's see what happens here a little bit. Like I said, this was a 20-ton jack, so I would sure think that would be capable. I believe it has 20 inches of height that you can bring it up to. And I don't know if that's including the base of the jack also. Because if it is, that means I'm going to have to raise it up, block it up, raise it up again. But it sure seems to be moving. want you to bore you folks with every one of these pumps of the jack. So okay, there's some creaking going on. I'm going to put the phone down, I think, and get back on once I have success, hopefully. So I went back to the barn dominium and got some scrap lumber that they left behind. I'm going to try to jack up the side of the tiny house so that if my jack slips or something, it'll catch it and I don't have to start all over again. I was hoping I could get 4 pieces in there. So close. Maybe if I pull it back a little bit. Okay, so I got it raised about 7 or 8 inches, blocked up that corner, and now I'm planning on lowering the jack onto the braces over there, and I'm going to try using this double 2x4 that they nailed together. Put that underneath the jack, because I believe my jack is at its limit right now. And then see if I can get another 4 inches of lift on this. Be back when I see what happens. Okay, so I let it down. You can see the jack is free. The 2x4s must have sunk about 3/4 of an inch to an inch, but now it's sitting, and I can try getting some more thickness underneath this jack and see if I can get her up higher. Catch you in a bit. Okay, the good news is I was able to take all of my bracing out from under it, and I was able to slide one of those concrete retaining wall blocks under the corner. The bad news is I probably need to go another full block up before this thing levels out. I know this is just a rough estimate, but I'll show you. That's what I got going on the level. And I've got to drop it all the way down to there. As you can see, the level is pitching pretty bad. So back to the jack we go and try to get it up another thickness of a block and see where we end up. The other problem is if I want to block all 4 corners, then it's probably going to have to be even higher than 2 blocks on that first corner. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just glad it's actually progressing, slow but sure. I'll see you in a bit. So when you run out of thicknesses, you improvise. So I needed something about 1 inch thick, so I just took that piece of branch right there and stuck it in there. And it only has to hold just long enough for me to get this jack started again. I've now got it blocked up with 3 2x4s underneath it. So I think on this one I might be able to get enough lift to throw another cement block under there. So let me get at it and we'll see what happens. All right, we're up to 2 blocks and 2 2x4s. Time to check the level again. Right there is level. And if you remember last time, I was probably 5 inches out of level. Let's see what we got now. We're definitely gaining on it. I probably picked up another 2 inches. I'm thinking if I get it up high enough for 1 more block, that should be just about right. Because I don't want to go too high, because then I got to lift the other corners that much higher. So we'll keep going and try to get 1 more block in there and see where it sits. All right. I got my third block in there. As you can see, it's quite a ways off the ground now. That's how far out of level it was. Let's put that level up again. I know this isn't rocket science, but it's the only level place I've got back here right now. But look how much we've gained on it. Now it's actually high on the block side, which is exactly what we wanted, because we want to be able to jack up the other side a little bit without having problems. And what I'm thinking is maybe we could use smaller blocks. I'm not sure yet, but if you look down the side, this side of the shed is just totally tight to the ground. And I didn't want that. I wanted it up high enough to be able to at least get one sack of ready mix cement under it. Because I wanted to basically put ready mix, one bag, buttered up right next to each other all the way down to serve as like a footing. Once nature does its thing, that stuff should set up hard as a rock, and that should be plenty strong for this thing. But just the fact that a 20-ton jack helped me to get this much progress already, that's pretty amazing. That was a Harbor Freight jack. Harbor Freight jack. I think it was about $90. So yeah, if you look at the level here along the window on the side, this is the opposite side of the shed. The front end is like, oh wow. The front end is just really nose diving down. So yeah, this is going to be a real trick. So that means there's plenty of room to put blocks in this front corner right here, because this whole end of the shed, even though it's level this way, it's pitching downward this way. So at this point, both of these corners have to come up at the same rate in order to make up that difference. So that's probably going to be another day. Thanks for watching. I think that's enough for today. Nothing bad happened, so that's a good way to end it. Thanks for watching. God bless. I'm back. I decided to push my limits and go for it. So I ended up getting 4 blocks in that corner. I came around to this side. It was kind of scary because every time I jacked it up, the whole shed started wanting to tip that way. But I managed to use the jack to compensate for the tipping. So I was able to get 2 more blocks down there. I went to the other end. Got another block in this corner. That one's not even touching yet, so hopefully something will settle to where it'll land on that. But at least I got something to stop it. And then I got 2 more blocks on this corner. So, very productive day. Just wanted to add that in. Thanks for watching. God bless.